When Pablo Escobar's empire burned to the ground, the world thought the story of cocaine had ended. The king was dead, and with him, the era of Medellin's madness. The bombs, the assassinations, the chaos, it all seemed finished. But in truth, the cocaine river had only changed its course. In the shadows of Cali, a quieter breed of kingpins watched Escobar's fall not with fear, but with calculation. They were businessmen in suits, not bandits in jungle fatigues. They didn't roar like Escobar. They whispered, they bribed, they negotiated. They didn't seek fame, they sought control. And soon, they would become richer, deadlier, and infinitely more powerful. These were the Gentlemen of Cali. The city of Cali, unlike Medellin, had no mythology of rebellion. It was clean, organized, even elegant, home to sugar plantations, high-end clubs, and polished elites. Yet beneath the rhythm of salsa and the hum of commerce, the city pulsed with another kind of wealth. Cocaine money flowing silently through banks, construction projects, and political offices. The architects of this new empire were four men. Gilberto Rodríguez Orejuela, the brains cold, disciplined, obsessed with secrecy. Miguel Rodríguez Orejuela, his brother, the negotiator, charming but ruthless when crossed. Jose Chepe, Santacruz Londoño, the enforcer with a businessman smile. And Helmer Pacho Herrera, the most enigmatic of them all, a man who could move from boardrooms to battlefields with ease, his loyalty to profit above all. They were not revolutionaries like Escobar claimed to be. They had no delusions of grandeur or politics. They simply wanted to run the world's cocaine market like a corporation, efficient, invisible, untouchable. And for a time they did. Where Escobar had ruled through terror, Cali ruled through structure. They established departments: transportation, security, accounting, public relations. Their meetings had minutes, their shipments had schedules, and their assassinations had budgets. Every move was tracked, documented, perfected. Under Escobar, the streets ran red with blood. Under Cali, they glowed with money. By the early 1990s, the Cali Cartel wasn't just a criminal organization. It was a corporation of cocaine. Its structure mirrored that of a multinational company, with each of the four leaders managing a different division of power. Gilberto, the elder Rodríguez, was known as El Ajedrecista, the chess player. He didn't move recklessly. Every shipment, every contact, every politician had its square on his invisible board. If Escobar had ruled with bullets and fire, Gilberto ruled with silence and patience. His brother Miguel, smoother and more persuasive, ran logistics and finance. He treated drug smuggling like international trade, investing in radio stations, pharmacies, and soccer clubs as fronts. The city adored him. The politicians trusted him. The bankers welcomed him. Chepe Santacruz managed operations in Bogota and abroad. He controlled the routes through Panama, Venezuela, and the Caribbean. Chepe was the old-school operator. He knew the streets, understood loyalty, and could sniff out betrayal before it began. Then there was Pacho Herrera, the image of discipline. He handled the Mexican connections, the North American supply chain, and the violent end of negotiations. Elegant in manner, precise in speech, but utterly remorseless when crossed. He was the cartel's soldier, the one who made the impossible work. Together, they built an empire unlike anything the world had seen. Their strategy was genius in its simplicity: be invisible. No wars with the state, no bombs, no blood in the newspapers. They bought the system rather than fought it. Judges, generals, mayors, journalists, everyone had a price. They called it the Cali Consensus. While Escobar was hunted like an animal, Cali leaders dined with senators. They hosted charity galas, donated to churches, and funded hospitals. To the public, they were gentlemen of business. To the DEA, they were ghosts. But beneath the elegance lay a labyrinth of corruption. They owned telecommunications companies, not for profit, but for surveillance. They could listen to every phone call in Colombia, including those of law enforcement. They had ears inside the DEA offices and informants in presidential palaces. At one point, their intelligence network rivaled that of the government itself. By 1994, the Cali cartel's grip on Colombia was total. The newspapers were silent. The judges were bought. Even the president himself owed them favors. To the outside world, Cali was the model of progress, the city Escobar never allowed Medellín to be. The economy thrived. Streets were safe. Tourists returned. But beneath that illusion of peace, the cartel's power had seeped into every corner of the nation's bloodstream. Their money built roads and hospitals. Yes, but it also bought elections, silenced journalists, and erased anyone who whispered the truth. Yet in Washington, D.C., a few skeptical agents in the DEA weren't convinced by the calm. They'd studied the numbers. Cocaine seizures were down, but U.S. streets were flooded. One of those agents was Joe Toft, the DEA's top man in Colombia. He'd seen it all. Escobar's terror, the bombings, the chaos. But what frightened him about Cali wasn't violence. It was how civilized everything looked. At least with Escobar, he would later say, you knew where the bullets were coming from. Cali didn't shoot. Cali infiltrated. The DEA's first break came through a banker, a quiet man from Panama who handled laundering operations. By 1995, the empire that once ran on silence began to crack with whispers. The DEA's Operation Kingpin had turned from quiet observation into precise infiltration. Agents in Bogota and Miami had traced hundreds of offshore accounts. Dozens of shell companies unraveled like a spider's web pulled apart. Every strand led to Cali. And for the first time, the untouchable gentlemen began to feel the heat. The Rodríguez brothers tightened their circle. Meetings moved from offices to secret apartments. Phones were destroyed weekly. Files were burned nightly. But information, like dust, has a way of slipping through even the smallest cracks. In June 1995, Colombian President Ernesto Samper announced a sweeping crackdown on organized crime, a move born from scandal and pressure. It had just been revealed that his presidential campaign had received millions from the Cali cartel. The world was watching. The Americans were furious. Samper had no choice but to hunt the men who had once financed his rise. The irony wasn't lost on Gilberto Rodríguez. He had spent years building alliances, buying politicians, controlling elections, all in the name of stability. Now, the very government he had bought was being forced to destroy him. The DEA's intelligence, combined with local police raids, began to collapse the network piece by piece. Warehouses were seized. Accounts were frozen. Associates vanished. In early July, a tip reached Colombian police. Gilberto was hiding in a luxury apartment complex in Cali, Edificio Monaco, ironically named after the same building Escobar once used in Medellín. The raid was swift. Dozens of officers stormed the building at dawn. Gilberto tried to run, not with guns, but with dignity. He was found crouched behind a bathroom wall, unarmed, impeccably dressed. The chess player had been checkmated. His arrest sent shockwaves through Colombia. Newspapers screamed, "A gentleman fall." Crowds gathered outside police stations, unsure whether to cheer or to fear. Miguel, the younger brother, took command. For weeks, he tried to hold the empire together, shifting operations, moving funds, paying off informants. But the walls were closing in. The DEA had wiretaps, confessions, and satellite surveillance. The once invisible cartel was now a map of red dots on an American operation screen. In August 1995, Miguel made a desperate mistake. He ordered his men to kidnap a police informant who had betrayed him. The operation went wrong. The informant escaped, and in his panic, revealed the exact address of Miguel's hideout. Hours later, police surrounded the building. Miguel surrendered quietly, wearing a crisp white shirt, a gold watch, and the expression of a man who knew the game was over. He didn't resist. He didn't cry. He simply said, "Tell my brother I did what I could."